Sharon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a little drama on my hands at the moment. I've just received notice from ABRSM that from now on, forevermore, the grades 1 to 5 music theory exams will be taken online remotely via computer. Of course, this is only the first kind of news flash, and so I am sure many of my questions will be answered as facts unfold. So this is a little disclaimer. This is my first kind of reaction to that. No doubt many of my points will be addressed as we find out more and more of the details. However, I must admit I am a little concerned. Maybe this is because this is coming on the back of what's been a very, very stressful few weeks as we've just completed a grade 8 ABRSM theory exam that was particularly arranged for just year 13 students. So for my A-level students who were preparing for university, we've done a grade 8 theory exam that was particularly designed to allow students in that position to take their theory exam and give them the points for uni. And so it's been a really, really stressful time. No doubt it's been stressful for ABRSM as well because it's all so new and everybody's just doing the best to make the best of this awkward situation. And so my A-level students had to take their grade 8 exam remotely via computer at home. And so in order to sort of show integrity of work and so on, they had to download an awful lot of software to record them taking their exam. They had to have all sorts of measures in place to keep the integrity of the exam, to show that there was no cheating. And it's been an absolute nightmare, particularly for the parents who've had to act as invigilators. And the technology demands have been really massive, sort of quite beyond most of us, to be honest. And it was all done very much sort of on the hoof, reacting, and lots of last minute changes. However, you kind of think, well, okay, I'm willing to work with that, and you know, we're all just doing our best, and it's all very last minute. None of us were prepared for this situation, and we've just done the best that we can. So I'm perhaps a little bit jaded after that. It's also true that none of us really like change, do we? And the one thing in life that is constant is change. And so we'll have to wait and see how matters unfold. Change happens all the time, doesn't it? I mean, you know, I live near to the potteries, and the changes to the businesses as pot banks have sort of taken their business abroad has changed the nature of the city that's quite close to me. And then sort of I'm also quite close to Cheshire, and oftentimes we used to go to a Wetherspoons for a coffee with the kids when they were teenagers, and the Wetherspoons used to be a bank, so there again change. And in the bank where we went for a Wetherspoons coffee, we used to sit in the safe. It was this great big safe, and the kids thought it was like really cool to sit in this big bank safe to drink your cappuccino. And on the wall was a picture of the old Congleton mills, that one stroke of the government's pen put all of those mills out of business. And so the whole sort of county had to change because the laws allowed cheap import. And one of my favourite books actually is that Charlotte Bronte's Shirley, which looks back on the Luddite era with all the frame breakers for the mill owners and the workers who were starving. And it was a really great sort of commentary on both sides, the businessmen who were trying to make a viable business and the workers who were just trying to earn some money to feed their family. So change is inevitable, and there is always a price to pay. So I realise that. But here are my concerns. If the exam is going to be digital, how then are you going to sort of hone your manuscript writing skills? If you're just clicking a treble clef on a screen, how does that help you develop as a musician if you never really assessed on how you draw your treble clef. How neat is your notation? And again, this could just be me being a little bit old-fashioned. You know, I still remember at college, and I know my friend was like this at university as well, where your manuscript had to be written. This is going to make me sound really ancient. Your notation manuscript had to be written in sort of italics ink pen. And now we're sort of gone right from that. I must admit, I'm quite happy for things to move to pencil and a rubber. That is a change for the better, I think, because it's such a time-consuming process doing the ink pen scenario. But then to go into just clicking a button for this is a treble clef. And so I think that I presume that the workbooks will still be the same, and that really just gives more responsibility to the teachers to make sure that we still exhort the importance of these skills. So it's down to the teachers to make sure that they thoroughly teach using the theory and practice workbooks that we would use anyway, to make sure that, you know, students are accustomed to drawing notation, accustomed to the pencil and, you know, writing your manuscript and so on. So I think that's a big responsibility that now falls entirely on our shoulders if that's not going to be measured in the exam process. However, my main concerns outside of that, because, you know, I can take measures for that responsibility, is that I know what it's like when you try and write music on music software. It's a completely different skill, and it's also very, very time consuming. And so it suddenly places an extra burden of managing software on a computer. You know, you've got to click the notation onto the stave, and then you've got to click that it's a sharp, and then you've got to click to add a dot, and you've got to find your way around the menus to make it work. Surely it can't all be multiple choice. You could never do a transposition question and properly adjusting your sharps and flats and naturals and getting your new key signatures in place just by multiple choice. I don't think that is the way to go at all. I hope that's not the way it's going to go. I can't foresee that. And so, as if you haven't got enough to worry about already in making sure that you're prepared with the knowledge to take the exam successfully, now you've got the added burden of, is your Wi-Fi up to scratch? Have you got the right technology? And can you manage all the new software to navigate around all of these new notation software systems? And I know for a fact that this will be very discriminating against many people who just cannot handle that technology. No doubt, you know, as years roll by, more and more people will become more used to doing that, and that will become the new norm. But there will be that crossover period where a lot of people just won't be able to partake in the exam because of that. So that's one big concern, is it will just steer quite a lot of people away from the exam. My other main concern is the opportunity for cheating. You know, we've got to have all of these musical terms and directions under our sort of fingertips, as it were. And as you progress through the grades, we've got Italian, we've got French, we've got German, we've got all sorts of things that we need to sort of revise and internalise, and it's just revision and experience that gets that in our system, as it were. And what happens if you're taking your exam at home? How do we prove that nobody sort of peeped to look up a word? The way that they dealt with that for the grade 8 special sort of remote exam just for the year 13s was we had to download some software to record them taking the exam, so that the whole procedure was recorded remotely. And so there is physical evidence that that didn't happen. However, I can't see that being practical for every single exam, because that is a massive amount of technology, software updates, pressure and sort of burden on your Wi-Fi packages and so on. And so these are my concerns. And I have to say, I've had more than one headache as I worry about these changes that are in hand. And I wonder why these are happening. Again, this is our first thought about this exam. No doubt many of our questions will be answered, and at the end of the day, change is inevitable, and we just have to adjust to these changes as best we can with the best integrity that we can maintain. And so it makes it more and more important than ever that we learn for learning's sake, because we don't want to just teach to the test, just the bare minimum to get your exam. We want to teach to instill knowledge, which then will give depth of experience and will enhance your musical journey. So we need to make sure that we are learning because we want to learn, and so therefore we will take it upon ourselves, and teachers will definitely make the effort to make sure that your manuscript skills are on top of things, and your notation's neat and you do fully know these things. And we'll see how this new exam system measures up in real life. No doubt there will be niggles, there will be teething problems, and so I wait with bated breath to see what the future will hold. Let's just hope it's not going to be the nightmare it was for this grade 8 theory exam we've just sat. Let's hope things go smoothly. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.